What an absolutely wild ride of emotions and football games it has been the past few weeks here in the world of Notre Dame football. I'm Mike Singer. With me is Mike Goolsby, former Notre Dame captain and linebacker. And I, Goolsby, I was thinking before we hit go live here, like, you beat Georgia. It's like, man, is there any kind of letdown 6 days later? No, none at all to speak of. And here we are talking about Notre Dame beating a really good Penn State team, 27-24. And I was there. It was absolutely electric. I mean, just schools. We have a lot to discuss for tonight's show, but I'll give you the floor. Where do you want to start with this game?
I think the only place to start, Singer, is talking about this team.
Mm-hmm.
And you mentioned a letdown. So John and I did a show a few days back. Everything's running together, right?
Right.
It's crazy. It's crazy. But and John's a worrier. You know this, Singer. Worries about everything. Makes himself sick. And he's like, aren't you worried about, the physicality of the Georgia game, this run? They've won 13 straight games. They've been in the playoffs since NIU, basically. Aren't you worried about a letdown? And sure you are, right? Just from a physicality perspective, like we forget, dude, these kids are still in college, right? These aren't professional athletes and they're playing an NFL schedule. It's wild. But the more you think about it, you're like, this team, this unit this year isn't comprised of 3 players, 4 players, 5 players like a Penn State, right? You got your Aller, you got your backs, you got the robo tight end, that safety number 6, who had 16 tackles, by the way.
Is that the Wheatley
Great
kid?
little player. I'm sorry?
Is that the Wheatley kid who had the interception?
Correct.
Yeah.
Correct.
Notre Dame recruited him.
Whale of a game. But our team isn't comprised of 4 or 5 kind of star players. It's a team. It's a collective. And I really think that like Marcus Freeman's messaging and the culture, it has stuck so much so that you've got, a true freshman on a kickoff team is just as bought in as a Howard Cross who's been here 6 years. So it's like the trickle down effect of the leadership and the buy-in, and it's permeated the whole team. And that, so if your Howard Cross is nicked up or a Riley Leonard gets his bell rung, it's like you've got people behind him, and there's varying levels of talent and experience and all that. But the buy-in and the belief and the trust without knowing that Marcus Freeman preaches incessantly, this is the end result, dude.
Yeah.
That's great, Jake. Our Freeman, that's great.
Trickle down Freemonomics. Yeah, I love it. All right. I feel like the whole culture thing is just kind of it can just be a talking point. It's like, oh yeah, culture, all that crap. But explain how Notre Dame loses all those players in the middle of the game, rallies, and that picks it up. Like it is. There's just so much, like doing that show from the press box last night with Tim. I was like, I can't really get into the game. I am still just like I'm in awe when you really step back and think about all that has transpired this season, this long ass season. Goolsby, could you imagine playing college football and you're on game 16 coming up? If Texas wins tonight, they're going to be on game 17. It's absolutely ridiculous, but it's like crazy just to think about how we've got here and all that Notre Dame has overcome, all of these injuries.
Oh my gosh.
Doesn't matter.
The awe thing, because I was emotional for the first time in a long time, settled in to watch that game. Like I legitimately had a frog in my throat. I legitimately did. It hit me how big of a moment it was. I mean, like waking up today, the awe thing, like I didn't have a big reaction when we won because I was kind of stunned. Dude, that first half felt like a nightmare.
It was awful.
It felt like a nightmare. And it wasn't as bad. I mean, we were down by 7. I'm arguing with Tim on text message. It's like it got tense, right? And like we're only down by a score, but somehow it felt like we were down by 28. We didn't stand a chance. And then I saw Aeneas Williams get interviewed on the field post game, and he's another kid. Like, oh, Jeremiah's got a knee It's just, again, true freshman, bought in, unbelievable. But he was talking about at halftime, Coach Freeman's like, we've been here before. So he went right back into that Northern Illinois kind of motivational tank, or well, rather, went right back to the well. And I just think that, Marcus Freeman has kind of hung on to 5 or 6 different like messaging points, and he's been consistent. And you and I have talked about this, like when you compare a Brian Kelly to a Marcus Freeman years ago, like as a player, I mean, you're a parent now. Like the biggest thing that youngsters need is consistency. We need that. I need to know what I'm going to get from my coach or from my parents or my boss or whatever is the case, day in and day out. I have to be steady. And Marcus Freeman's messaging has been steady and unwavering, and the team plays like that.
Man, what just a difference in conversations about Marcus Freeman from 4 months ago. Was that a little over 4 months ago, right? Between then to now, a guy who's like, man, does he know what he's doing? To now, Goolsby. It's the culture, right? The culture piece that has kept this team together, and they rally and they love each other. But the in-game, what they did at halftime, is that the team just rallying around each other? Or like halftime, was there real adjustments that you saw? I haven't been able to watch the game back. I just got home like an hour ago. But I'm just like, it was a completely different team that came out. I was super worried about, to your point about the 10-0 felt like about 50-0. That's what I said last night during the show. I was like, man, it felt like a blowout, because what can Notre Dame not do? Turn the ball over, which they did, and get gashed like that in the run game defensively. And Notre Dame comes out in the second half, and they're just stopping them left and right. I was like, what is this? So yeah, Freeman's got the culture point, the culture thing, Goolsby, but actually coaching on the field and the adjustments and his decision making, Denbrock and Golden. I mean, is there a better coaching trio in college football right now?
No, I mean, like I said, the way Freeman has set this up with Golden, the gray hair sandwich, right? I mean, it's brilliant as somebody that didn't know what he was doing, and how could he know what he was doing? So a lot of meat you left me there to kind of parse through here.
Go ahead.
Another one of Freeman's messaging points is like, you've heard him say over and over, the highest of highs, the lowest of lows. And I kid, but when Marcus Freeman writes his autobiography one day, we'll know what kind of shift took place after Northern Illinois. We'll learn eventually. But it's like, he hit the lowest of lows as a head coach after losing another one of these games we have no business losing. And I really think that he kind of had that man in the mirror moment. And it was like all of these different people that you have to please as the head coach, whether it be alumni base, players, parents, like you name it, media, all the things, right? And he's like, I got to do me. And that's where you saw his sideline demeanor really shift. You saw the shift in the press conference, behavior, for lack of a better word. It's like he kind of learned who he was and who he needed to be in that moment. In every team, Mike, every team I've ever been a part of, any team you've ever been a part of, they talk about culture. Nobody works as hard as we do, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. Puke, right? Every team says it.
Yeah.
But this team's living it. And another interesting thing when you talk about high-end marquee college football programs is, we dabble in NIL. We'll bring in 2 or 3 players, 5, 6 a year, whatever. But it's not a team built of rental mercenary players. It's hard to like redo your culture or keep any sort of level of consistency in terms of like the leadership player dynamics if you're swapping kids in and out every single year. So that's another element to it. But you asked me about like what adjustments are made. I'm with you. I don't do this for a living. I haven't had a chance to rewatch the film or jump into the all 22, but that'll be fun.
Yeah.
But watching the game live, it felt like, and this is just defensively in particular, Mike, Al Golden, he'll tell you, like sometimes he can get in front of his skis, as it were. And it was like early on the game, we are bringing middle fire, right? So your middle linebackers were blitzing up the middle, blitzing up the middle, blitzing up the middle, blitzing up the middle. And they were attacking our edges because we didn't have anybody like inside out pursuit. And then beyond that, they were doing a lot of like late shifts, and we used to call it like explode, where it's like, here they are, and then there's a move call, and then they explode into some completely different formation mixed in with a little bit of tempo. Singer, we couldn't get lined up, dude.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
So it's like,
I jotted that down.
One team, you're out there going, okay, I got 3, I got 4. Like, you can talk it out. You have time to kind of get yourself aligned.
So what did they secondly? Because I jotted that down. Did they do anything different?
Without rewatching the film or whatever, but it's to me in the second half, we played more straight up. So it's like, okay, I can just get lined up, and my man is my man, and I'm not worrying about the blitz call or the check out of this. You go. I mean, you could watch the film, and we were getting lined up late. And then when you don't really know what you're doing, Mike, because everything's happening so fast, and it's like then you tend to play a little bit slower. So it's a whole shitstorm, Singer. Does that make sense, defensively speaking?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Oh, man. And before we go to a few super chats, just sitting back and thinking, I mean, Goolsby, you've been following Notre Dame for a very long time, right? You played for the Fighting Irish, and for everyone watching or listening, just think that number of the years you've been watching Notre Dame, and whether it's 10 years or 20 years or 50 years, like, this season is one of the most special for you. It just is. And we are witnessing it right now. And it's seriously so incredible. Such a flawed football team. It is so flawed. As good as like Jaden Greathouse was the other night, the passing attack still stinks. Riley Leonard had some bonehead throws, right? He got picked off a couple times. The running game, 2.8 yards per carry. Defensively get gashed, but you have all these injuries, but they just find a way to win. They keep doing it, whether it's a shootout at USC with pick sixes late, or grinding a game out like against Georgia or at Texas A&M, or whatever the hell we just saw last night, Mike. They just keep winning. It's been incredible. I love it.
It's so fun to get to do this, because you're talking about, okay, well, Penn State's got another day of rest. Is that going to factor into us having fatigue? Sure. I mean, how can you quantify it? I don't know if you can. And again, I was talking about this with John. It's like, Penn State kind of had a cakewalk through this playoff between playing an SMU, Boise State. Notre Dame and Penn State aren't recruiting any of those players, just a heads up, right? So you're in a different league athletically in terms of like the genetic profile of these kids. And we've been tested, brother.
Mm-hmm.
So granted, we might be a little bit more tired, but we have been tested and we've been forged in a couple of the different fires that we've had to go through. And it like that almost becomes a skill in and of itself. Because if we get into a dogfight versus Texas, Ohio State, it's like we know what we're made of. And we've been here before. So there is no anxiety. I mean, you saw us close this game out like a bunch of freaking pros, dude. We handled it like a bunch of bosses, dude.
Yeah.
And real quick about the injury thing, I was trying to explain this. 2 more thoughts.
Yeah.
The offensive line shuffle injury thing it's literally almost unbelievable. And I want people to let's go through this exercise because it's been a long season. Singer, I won't ask you, but I had to look this morning. The O-line that we rolled out against Texas A&M was Anthony Knapp. This is left to right. Anthony Knapp, Sam Pendleton. I checked the film this morning. Ashton Craig at center, Shrouth at right guard, Emil Wagner at right tackle.
Mm-hmm.
Now, Anthony Knapp was a backup, true freshman. We didn't draw it up this way. Not ideal. He's backing up Charles Jagasaw, who got hurt in training camp. So you had one backup. Then Ashton Craig goes out, your starting center, and it's almost hard to keep track of it all. You bring in Pat Coogan, who's really a guard. Now he's your center as a backup. Shrouth gets hurt. Rocco Spindler goes in. Shrouth comes back. Rocco Spindler moves to the other. Shrouth moves to the other side.
Pendleton bounced.
Pendleton's out. So then in this game, it's crazy. And then in this game, your backup left tackle, who's a true freshman, he gets hurt. So then you put in a fifth-year senior in Tosh Baker. Hell of a job, by the way, Tosh. Amazing moment for that kid. And then who goes? And then Rocco Spindler gets hurt. And then who goes to replace a backup in Rocco Spindler? Your starting left tackle, Charles Jagasaw, who's playing, I guess, out of position. So it's like you had a starter left tackle who is now a backup at right guard. It's like it blows your mind.
And he plays great.
The last thought too, and I thought about this when I was showering this morning. There's a lot going on. We're all busy, right? You've got a baby at home. I've got a lot of personal stuff with work and life outside of this team. And I just had a moment, like when I was getting ready, I was like, man, I have to be conscious, to your point, Singer, about how long have you been a fan? I'm being intentional about soaking this in. Does that make sense? Sure. And as exhausted as you and I are as podcasters and content creators, I mean, you're on here every single night. It's like you can't complain about it, but it's like you gotta soak this in. It's awesome.
10 days away, brother. In Atlanta. Now, we're doing this show before the Texas-Ohio State game. So obviously for the thousands and thousands of people who watch this show or listen to this podcast after it's obviously we hear this live, you guys know the result of that game. We don't. So we're not going to talk too much about that because the majority of people who tune into this show watch it after. So I don't want to talk about something that you already know the answer to. But Goolsby did have Texas going to the title game. We both had Notre Dame making it. I had Notre Dame losing to Oregon. I did not expect Ohio State to be that good.
Funny.
What?
We're kind of working out the logistics of the championship game. Ex teammates, friends, who's going, try to link up with people. Speaking of which, shout out to my boy Deuce. It was his birthday. He's a classmate of mine at Notre Dame, and I keep forgetting him to give him a shout out. And Ryko, Deuce and Ryko, they were at the game down there in Miami. So shout out, boys. They're going to be at the Natty, I would assume. But one of my buddies, he's like, dude, if we play Ohio State, I'm not going.
Why?
He doesn't like our odds. Fair, right? He's entitled to his opinion. But then I'm sitting there going, and I might agree, I'd rather play Texas. If I'm being completely transparent, I'd rather play Texas. But son of a buck, 0 catches for a Penn State wide receiver last night. Freaking goose egg, dude. Goose egg. So you're telling me, we hold Penn State wide receivers to jack shit. It's like, we got to at least be able to hang with Ohio State. Give me a break.
I like where your head's at. I don't know if I agree with it.
Who are we to doubt? Who are we to doubt this team?
I agree with that. That is not the team to doubt.
And you sit there and go, they said it in the stupid broadcast. And ESPN hates Notre Dame, by the way. Good God. I had a 90-minute drive this morning for work. I'm watching a 20-minute clip of one of these ESPN shows, right? 20-minute YouTube clip, 14 minutes talking about Penn State before they even mentioned Notre Dame, talking about Drew Aller's read on that play. But Drew Aller, they said on the broadcast last night, if he came out this year, he'd be, in the 20 to 30 range or 25 to 30 range. He's a first-round pick, folks. Just so you know, per ESPN, he's a first-round pick.
Bad quarterback draft, but yeah.
He's a first-round pick, Mike.
All right, Ghouls, let's go through some super chats real quick. Beastan dropped $5. Says you called it. We got in Aller's head and saw him drawing out our defenders. I love the one where, it was after he threw the pick to Gray, he's just like looking up, like he just, probably dropped an F-bomb just sitting on the side, the bench. I like to just one Indy gal.
Christian Gray. How about that young man?
Just keeps balling. I'm scrolling the message board. People are just, shitting on him and, oh man, he's such a liability out there. Okay. All right.
Singer, we tried to talk about this, I think, last time I saw you. this is going to sound harsh, but you're the one dogging on Gray. You don't know what you're talking about in regards to Christian Gray's play and his level of play and his talent level, whatever.
You're saying you in general, or are you talking about me specifically?
People that are dogging Christian Gray,
okay.
you have no effing clue what you're talking about. He plays field corner. He is on a freaking island all game, 100% by himself, playing probably the hardest position in football. Anyway.
Yeah. Just one Andy Gal, appreciate the 1988. I absolutely love your super chats, and they're very, very thoughtful. Can you, Domerwat, can you explain Tyler Workout reporting? He definitely didn't use the word massive flu outbreak. There was like 5-6 guys. I mean, Tyler tweeted something, and then everyone just like blew it up on social media, and there were definitely other media outlets that confirmed it. I mean, Pete Damel talked about it on Pat McAfee's show. So, I mean, it was overblown, but yeah. But I mean, Tyler probably should have put in his tweet that it's not many, because we knew it wasn't a ton, but Tyler didn't mention that in his tweet. He did in a story, but not in the tweet. But yeah, there's no, I mean, Bo Collins, I don't know what his absence was. That could have been flu related. I believe he started and then kind of came out, but it didn't impact the team. I put on our message board, I was like, guys, this is not going to be something that impacts the football game.
And not that Tyler needs me to defend him, but like when you're in this world of like content analyst, whatever, it is how about it, Singer? The whole thing's a dance. It's a dance. You can't.
In terms of what? Like what kind of dance? Sorry, dude. I'm freaking hungry.
Jesus
I'm sorry.
Christ. It's a dance.
Like what kind of dance?
Like back in the, like when I first started doing this, like I would throw out an opinion and people would like latch onto it like a pit bull. And I'm like, dude, it's just my thought. They're like, well, are you reporting that, or is that just speculation? I'm like, whoa, my bad. So it's like, if you want to talk about something, you have to be very, very specific and like consistently specific, because people will jump you like that. It's wild, dude.
Oh yeah. That's why sometimes I just don't comment on, like, just stay in my lane, which this is my lane actually, but I don't. Yeah.
Sometimes it's not worth it. It's, quite frankly.
No. Tony, last 2 games, we win the toss for managed points on the board before half and start chip. We win the second half. Attaboy to the coaches, players, and Notre Dame Nation. Onward to the Natty. Can we shout out peanut butter?
Oh,
peanut butter jelly. Can we talk about Steve Angeli? And do you agree with
yes, I agree, Stinger. Holy,
the talking point. Calm your tits there. The talking point that, like, that drive, it was just 3 points. It makes it from a 10-point to a 7-point game. But that, like, gave the team a spark. Like, do you think that was it? Like, do you think that was a big point? Because then you get the ball in the second half, dude. They just march down the field and score. It's 10-10. Cooking.
Yeah, it needed to happen. And he still took 2 sacks, from what I remember. But no, it needed to happen.
Dude,
strangely.
Come on. The Wagner. It was Baker or Wagner? Carter. Carter had 8 quarterback pressures in 33 snaps.
So that's something I was wrong about. I didn't think he was going to play, but maybe that was just me trying to manifest it. Dude, he's sick. And by the way, Singer, he was literally rushing. He was rushing with the
ball like we've seen him in the past. That was just
Abdul Carter sick.
Torched.
He was making us look silly, and he was literally playing with one arm. He was literally like rushing with one arm. It's pretty remarkable. But he did take a couple sacks. But no, it was a great play. I mean, add it to the list. Tosh Baker played, was more important than Steve Angeli was to me. I mean, Charles Jagasaw played amazing. Aeneas Williams played amazing. Gabe Rubio had another whale of a game. It's the nature of the beast. And it just kind of goes, it all just funnels back into that whole conversation about team. He's an amazing asset to have as a backup quarterback.
Yeah.
And I thought it was really interesting, super stoic in the pocket, maybe a little too stoic, took a couple sacks, but like, I don't feel like they pressured him. You got your customary edge rush pressure, but he felt like he had time. Like he had some time to let some plays develop.
He did. Yeah, I remember one.
Good for him, man.
I remember one where he got to his third read.
Yeah, he had time.
Yeah, so
and we know he throws a nice ball, and good for him and great for Riley. For that kid is so damn competitive. It's like the sneakiest competitor you'll ever meet. That all shucks personality. Gets his bell rung, comes right back in. He takes shots at himself after the game. He's very self-deprecating. He owns his mistakes. Man,
easy team to root for, man. Objectively, I like Freeman, very easy to root for. He is awesome. Leonard, like the how they've rallied, but there's a lot of people just see the logo and they get angry. But like when you peel back this onion, this Notre Dame team is very easy to root for. Matt said, "How do we feel about the next game, Goolsby?" Matt, we don't know who it is yet. We talked about this a little bit ago. I feel both teams can be ran against, maybe more so than Penn State game. Penn State weakness is pass defense. That just happens to be our weakness on offense passing.
Let me watch the games.
Yeah.
Let me watch. Let me watch the games. It's too early. Dude, by the way, like Singer and I've literally barely slept. And I was so tired. I took a nap before the game started yesterday. Just a quick cat nap. Like I'm running on fumes. So
yeah,
I want to give you. Sorry for it's a lame answer, but I don't want to BS you.
Yeah, Matt, appreciate the 10. I'm scared of Ohio State. Oh, Singer, don't be scared. Whatever. I don't care. This is my YouTube channel. Kiss my ass. I'll say what I want. I'm scared. I'm scared of Ohio State. The way they're playing right now, dude, they're freaking sick. They are. Texas, it's kind of more similar to Georgia to me, as a football team. I think Notre Dame could beat Texas. But Ohio State for me is like, damn. How they looked against Tennessee and Oregon. You don't want to get on track me with that team.
Well, Rudy, I don't. I could talk myself into preferring to play the Longhorns, and I could probably talk myself into preferring to play the Buckeyes. Because if you believe in our corners, preseason grade over here, A+ for the corners. That aged well. If you believe, like I think I believe, that we can cover Ohio State, it comes down to, whose defense would you rather play against? Texas's defense or Ohio State's? Who's got better culture? Ohio State's playing really well, but Ryan Day's kind of a pussy, So it's like, which quarterback do you like better? Quinn Ewers probably got better DNA, 5-star DNA. Will Howard's kind of a Riley Leonard type-ish player, maybe a little bit better thrower. So I'd have to think about it to give you an honest answer.
Yeah.
But I did pick Texas Notre Dame national championship.
You did. Garth and Rudy, appreciate the super chats, guys. Richard 2724 on the super chat. Love that. Lifetime Notre Dame fan, Parseesian era and beyond, living in Georgia. A big upcoming welcome to our state in Atlanta. Yeah, I will be there. I hope. We'll see. Everyone and their brother wants to go to this game in the press box. So we'll see. And I'm not going to tell Horka or Sobel or even Kyle that they can't go because I want to go. They do a lot more at those games than I do. I just watch and then do a show from the press box.
Yeah.
What about you?
Be there. I think it's trending that I'm going to be there. I just got to figure out logistics. So, amazing. I can't believe it after that first half. That first half felt like a nightmare. Holy smokes, did it ever.
Richard, really appreciate the 2724. Folks, please I haven't said this yet. Please hit the thumbs up on this video. Subscribe to the channel for more content, of course. Goolsby's got his Patreon. You can check it out. The link in his Twitter bio at MikeGoolsby41. One more super chat.
Yeah, by the way, Landon Tangwell, Private Pile, he's not the only guy breaking down film, Singer. I've been breaking down film all year. Just saying. Come take a peek. Promo code NDCFP, 50% off. Get over there.
Landon. He was on our show last week. Man. Landon did a good job with us, but I love some of his live commentary. The Schuler PI was terrible, right?
Let's talk about that.
Okay, Art Mendoza says shout out to Aeneas Williams. Kid just makes plays and has a full trust of the coaching staff. Aeneas he had 2 rushes, 17 yards, and then great scheme or way to scheme Aeneas. I mean, Penn State had, I think it was Kobe King, a linebacker. When you shift out your running back like that, you might see a corner bounce with them or something. Nope, linebacker man up, no safety help. Aeneas little sluggo, boom, it was beautiful.
And that's one I'll eat a little bit of crow on. Aeneas is turning out to be better than I thought he was going to be. He never looked fast enough to me on high school film. And, there's a lot of talk about him. He could maybe play wide receiver. I was like, you guys are nuts. But sure enough, I mean, he looked amazing on that route. And yeah, I mean, it's just back to the team thing. And an incredibly mature kid. And people, this is something that's worth parsing out before we talk about the Adon Schuler. And hell, let's talk about the Christian Gray. One of 2 red zone interceptions that we had, right, that were taken away. What was I just talking about? Aeneas Williams.
No, yeah, the PI Schuler.
But nobody really dogs on Aeneas Williams, right? But Jeremiah Love is so special, like generationally special and generationally talented. So for us to be crying for more love isn't necessarily a shot at Aeneas Williams. Yeah. I want to make that clear.
Yeah.
Anyway.
Yeah, I agree. Just one Indigo, we expect major crossover, blue and gold, Irish, always Irish, whatever content. Yeah, I don't know. We'll figure that out because my wife, like, I don't know, like I can't, I don't want to be gone too much, so I gotta figure out, because I was just gone from her and I've taken other trips, so since the baby's been born, so I gotta play my cards.
If I go, right, I'm gonna try to film some content probably for Patreon or whatever. But yeah, again, like some of those games when you go back, I mean, it's a whirlwind. Like I did a tailgate with John at the spring game, and it was like, felt like I was in the. I mean, it's just there's a lot going on, so it's hard to kind of like, okay, let me go over here and film something, and it's like we don't have production crews. It's just a
couple guys, a microphone, and a laptop. If there is someone who is like, I'm either local or I'm coming into town and I have a tailgate and you want to do a little hosting, let me know. I would be in.
Well, my dad's driving up from Tennessee and he has a nice pickup. So, but like back to the logistical thing. So if we go, we're gonna tailgate. So, but it's still early. I mean, it's we just won yesterday.
I think we'll have to discuss content, because I definitely want to do a preview show with you, and like me, you, and Tim. I think Jay Carr said a minute ago, like, we need another mega show. It was probably my favorite show we ever did last year, with all the different people coming in. It was before the Ohio State game, and I think that was like a 3.5 hour show, and that set me back like a week. I was so freaking tired from that. I don't know how some people do 4-hour shows all the time. I don't have that much to talk about. So I wanted to talk about that real quick. Oh, Goolsby, one other thing. So I want to talk about this real quick, and then I want to pop on some film. There or some film and some tweets, things that I've thought were interesting that I want to get your reaction from. You know what you've said when asked about how long you want to do this, right? This content creation space. What have you always said, Mr. Goolsby?
If we win a national championship, I'm gonna burn my laptop and disappear.
Is that still your plan?
Let's win the game first. Why do you ask?
I'm just curious. I thought about that. I was like, dude, I've been thinking so much about like just okay, factually, we know Notre Dame's just made it to the national championship game, but like, let's really take a step back and think about this. And that popped into my mind. But like what this means. Well, I was like, oh, well, Goolsby said he would quit if he. I don't think he will, by the way. There's no chance.
No, and I mean, full disclosure, I've always told you, I've been very vocal about it. I can be sensitive, right? And I literally, I work 7 days a week, right? I bust my ass at with my career, and I bust my ass trying to do my best for fans and, you know, people that consume all this content. But like the negativity stuff, it kills me. It sucks the fun out of it. It's like, guys, I don't do this full time, and it's just my opinion on something. So the negativity is really, and it's me. I sound like a crybaby, but I told you I'm sensitive. That's the part that wears me out.
Yeah.
You know,
You're also you can be a glutton for punishment because you're like, I'm not tweeting during this game. 50 tweets later in the first half.
well, that's become fun for me. And
Oh,
actually,
I love it.
it helps me. I can like go back and read my
Mhm.
timeline, and it gives me
You
my
remember
notes
shit. Yeah,
for
yeah, yeah.
next time I have to talk, you know.
100%. 100%. All right, goals. Want to go through? Got you for a little bit more. So I want to go through a few things that I saw on Twitter that I loved. Tweet from Chris Eccles is the what is it? He's the PA guy in the stadium, right? Yeah. Tweeted, this ends up in a touchdown for the guy in the gold helmet. How the hell did Jeremiah Love score this touchdown? I mean, this has got to be up there for everyone for one of the best touchdown runs you've ever seen. And it's only from a couple yards out, but the fight to get through like 5 players was incredible.
I'm just telling you, man. And he's doing it on, 75%. Marcus Freeman said he didn't have to play. If he decided he wanted to sit this one out, he said nobody would have batted his eye. That's a direct quote. And I mean, we are all blessed to get a chance to watch a kid like Jeremiah Love, not taking anything away from Price or from Aeneas Williams, but he's special, and we don't get a lot of athletes like that, walking through our doors that often. But that's just great will, great contact balance. He's such an explosive, violent player in kind of a sneaky way. And I tell you another thing, you want to give Angeli credit, absolutely. The way Jeremiah Love came out and started the second half, I think he had 3 consecutive very physical downhill runs. It reminded you of how he kind of toted the pill against USC. Really felt like he put the team on his back because you didn't see a lot of action from Love. And by the way, Singer, just random thoughts. Love's gotten a little bit swole, dude. Because coming out of high school, I don't think he really had a serious weight, program from his high school, whatever. Looks amazing. Another kid, just random something I saw. Boubacar Traore, diesel, dude. Because we think of Boubacar, he's long and lean, and he's got a knee, so he's been working on that upper body all season. Boubacar next year is going to be a nightmare, dude.
Steve Roach says Notre Dame's role model isn't Rudy, it's Rocky. They get better, but keep fighting awesome. When Steve appreciates the $10 super chat. So there's been one person who's been calling for Charles Jagasaw at guard for a long time.
Oh, this is this pancake. Watch number 1, pinball. Hey, and Rocco Spindler, thank you for your service. But if Charles Jagasaw starts in the national championship game, I will not be surprised.
Tinfoil hat?
No. He's amazing. Dude, Charles Jagasaw, like Tim was talking about earlier, just the natural power that young man has. And in the feet is the thing that gets you. I mean, he has amazing feet, whereas Rocco doesn't. Charles Jagasaw, skinny ankle. Rocco's ankles, tree trunks. It's just they're 2 different animals. So, yeah, I mean, it would not shock me at all if Charles Jagasaw is your starting guard in the Natty.
Folks, there is one way to mess up an ad read, and it's just like that. But, folks, let's talk about Rowback. The best fit in, best feel. That's how you're going to describe it after you're rocking some Rowback for a little while like I have. If you're not familiar with Rowback, they're completely changing the game with their incredibly comfortable activewear. And Rowback has a licensed game day collection that I'm absolutely loving with their novel polo designs, hoodies, and quarter zip designs for your Notre Dame Fighting Irish. It's definitely worth checking out. Nobody else is on the market is pairing these level of custom designs like the shirt I am wearing here with this quality of activewear. And they have their everyday shorts. That's a perfect pairing as well, having the comfortable elastic waistband. And it's great fabric that is made to have the appearance of a nice short, but the comfort of an athletic short. And Rowback has probably been leading the NIL charge, having signed partnerships with past Notre Dame stars like Audrey Estebe, Kyle Hamilton, and Michael Mayer, and current athletes Riley Leonard and Ben Morrison, among other big-time college football players. It's the go-to brand for college athletes. Use the code BLUEGOLD20 on rowback.com for a generous 20% off for all new customers. That's RHOBACK.com. That's 20% off all performance polos, shorts, and more with code BLUEGOLD20.
Singer.
Yeah.
You know, I don't read the comments during the show because I can't do two things at once. I cannot. But I just read it. I was just scrolling. I read up Sims Kev said, my wife doesn't like football. I'm paraphrasing. She's not really a football fan, but she started watching because of Jeremiah Love. And have I not been talking about 3, 4, 5 years? Like, we need some stars to part of the branding, part of recruiting, all of these things, you know, bring new fans into the fold. That's not just passed down generationally. That's exactly what I'm talking about.
Yeah. My wife likes the backup quarterback a lot. She thinks he's really talented.
Steve's hair looks amazing, by the way. If you talk to him, let him know I said so.
I'm sure he's watching. I'm sure he's not watching. Pilney with the generous $20 super chat. Angeli to the rescue, the most unselfish quarterback and player, and the comeback starts with him. Angeli has brought it to Notre Dame. Otherwise, he would have transferred. Marcus Freeman has something special. I mean, let's look. I love Steve. Let's not get too carried away. But I think if you were to put odds on it, I think he would be the favorite to be your starting quarterback next year. We'll see how it goes. Got a lot to have.
We got all off season.
Yeah, we got a long off season. It's gonna be such a long, fun week, man. My wife is over me doing these shows, by the way. She's like, every single night you're watching a game, or you're doing a show, or tonight it's both, by the way. Yeah, but we're gonna keep it rolling. I'll probably do a call-in show. I'll do my show with Tim. I'll do a show with some of the beat writers. I'll do a show with hopefully Tim and Goolsby. Maybe we'll get some a recurring guest person that we've had in the past, like a Zorge comes to mind. We'll see. I'm sure it'll be busy around here. How about this? Did you see this? Here's a quote from Xavier Watts talking about Marcus Freeman. He was angry. He was angry with the press conference thing. Whatever was going on between that, he was mad about it. All the anger went toward us, and the anger went on the field. And I don't have the clip in front of me, but like Franklin was talking, and I didn't even get to watch his press conference, but Franklin was talking about something, and you just see Freeman go, like he's looking around, like I'm guessing he's looking maybe over to like, one of the media people at Notre Dame, like, or one of his right hand man or women kind of person. And he's just like, what the hell is this guy talking? Maybe it was when he was talking about Franklin was yapping about the conference thing. Like, it's a long press conference. Franklin talks the entire time. He's like filibustering. Dude, my brother and some of my childhood friends, we got a group text, and they were like, "Oh man, I love Franklin." Like, I'm like, you clearly are not watching college football. Like, what the hell are you like? It's like the guy's the worst.
All right, yeah, no, I get it. So it's in the same vein as Signetti. And John and I've been talking about this on Patreon for a couple weeks now, and it's true. Like, confidence is quiet, right? Insecurity is kind of loud. And at that presser, if you haven't watched it, it was like 38 minutes long. James Franklin was effing with Marcus Freeman. And he was very audibly, like 3 times as loud as Marcus was. And yeah, he was like, for him, how old are you, Marcus? Like, look at that hairline. Like, between like 2 alpha men personalities, would be alpha, like he's effing with them.
Yeah.
I don't know how else to explain it. So it's like, you saw the end of the game exchange with Signetti. I didn't watch the end of the game exchange with Franklin, but yeah, Freeman absolutely blew him off. And like I said, Freeman's just a high character guy. Yeah. He's a high character guy.
Michael Jordan meme levels of, and I took that personally, love it. Pilney with another $20. Marine, appreciate the 5. Rally Sons of Notre Dame. Nobody's playing this far down the depth chart as Notre Dame. This is the most unheritable story of all.
No,
No other team in the Final Four could have done that.
He makes a great point. When they do the 30 for 30 of this team, Singer, 20 years from now, we're touching them all. Like, you got your backup quarterback moment. You've got the offensive line. You got the running back fighting through injuries. You know, you got the Xavier Watts coming back. You've got, like, next man up, you know, Benjamin Morrison mentoring these young corners. You've got it all. You've got it all. If you want to talk about a story, you've got it all here. The Marcus Freeman, first black head coach. I don't know why he's black. I mean, he's also Asian. I mean, it's 50-50, but that's a whole storyline that people, of course, have to talk to and, you know, beat to death. There's a lot of meat on this bone when you're talking about this team.
Totally appreciate the 20. Last thing, Ghouls. And I know, guys, we'll get plenty of Goolsby. I know it's a shorter show tonight.
Get on Patreon. You want more of this.
Get on Patreon. We'll have him again this week. Michael, my buddy here, when's the first episode of Ask Ghouls going to be scheduled? Goolsby, for his thing, his Patreon, he can do that. We are not ever going to do
check
a
the link. Well, if he's serious, check the link in the bio. It's $10 a month. Monday Night Raw. Fire away. It's wide open chat. That's what it's for.
Yeah, but in terms of a call-in,
$9 on a super chat.
Yeah, we're never doing a call-in show. With Ghouls.
I can't do it. I can't do it. You guys, you guys would have a different opinion of me if I had to take calls for 2 hours. Can't do it.
Michael and Philly, appreciate it.
Can't do it. Won't do it.
All right, this is my buddy. He sent me this. He put $1,000 wager on Notre Dame to win the title back in January, and it was plus 2,500. So his total payout would be the grand he put down, and then 25 grand. Do you ride this, Mike? So here's the thing. He doesn't know what his cash out is because he moved states in the current state he's in. He would have to go back.
I heard you guys talking about this. Sorry to interrupt, but I know the backstory.
Okay, go ahead.
For those that don't, the guy probably had a couple pops, got a wild hair, got his tax return, puts $1,000 on Notre Dame. It's plus 2,500. So the payout would be 25 grand. But are you saying he can take an early cash out? Is that what you're suggesting?
He would have to go back to his former state. It might be 10-hour drive for him and cash it out. But if like Ohio State wins, we asked ChatGPT, it would be like $3,000 to $3,400, $3,000 like $3,400 cash out right now. But that would drop if Ohio State wins, because Ohio State would be like a 7-point favorite against Notre Dame. Texas would be 2.
So you're saying take the $3 grand or let it ride? Is that what we're saying?
Or do you hedge? Right? Do you hedge? Put some cash on, like, you know, Ohio State money line or something.
I would assume he put this bet down months, and that'd be my advice as a sports bettor myself. You put the bet down months ago, you don't miss the money.
He said that in a text to me. Yeah.
You know, you don't miss the money. It's already gone. You let it ride. There's no question. And then the spirit in which you laid that bet, don't switch up now.
I would let it ride. Yeah. And hedge. You know, just so you come out at least even. Get your $1,000 back. I'm sure you can do that. You know, I've never played with this amount of cash before in a bet. My bets are $2-3. So Chris Darwin said, repeat guess, I vote for Deuce Knight. Talking about the mega show. I forgot about that. Yeah, he was on there. Last couple super chats here. Pilney just dropping bombs here. Another $20 super chat. I hope Lou stays
like
quiet.
The guy that would drop $1 grand on a bet. You know, all these $20. Pilney, get in Patreon.
Throwing shade of.
He just paid for 6 months. Anyways, go ahead.
Losing a home to them was karma for Lou firing up the opposition and giving OSU bulletin board material. The 10 men on the field ending was karma. Yeah, I mean, both. I mean, Notre Dame's got some recent history with both teams. Yeah, I mean, it would be sweet revenge against either. I would rather see Texas.
Let me read this out loud. I hope Lou stays quiet about throwing shade at OSU. So for fans that don't know, I forget whatever capacity or whatever format, but this is prior to the Ohio State game last year, and Lou basically called them soft, which they were. And Ryan Day takes that. You think I'm sensitive? Holy smokes. So we lose to Ohio State, infamously 10 guys in the field. Big wart on Freeman's resume at the time. Ryan Day is in Notre Dame Stadium on the field being interviewed like live on TV. Oh, look at you, Singer. And he calls out Lou Holtz.
Wonder where Lou Holtz is right now.
Unbelievable. So I feel the opposite way to Pilney here. Lou, as Singer would say, talk yo ish. Talk it. Yeah. You're Lou Holtz. Say whatever you want.
Curious explored 2 key plays of the game. Sent Notre Dame fumble recovery at end of first half. Yep, when Carter just beat the crap out of the tackle and smacked Steve. And Penn State poor throw near goal line at the end of half. Yes, 100%. Yeah, I talked about that in a video. I mean, poor throw, sure, but like Nick Singleton is one of the best running backs in the country. Catch the freaking football, brother. Like, I mean, it was put on his hip. Catch the ball. I can't believe he dropped it.
And that's another one of those instances, Singer, where we weren't lined up. And you could, Snead busted, but it was like, I'm over here. Wait, I'm over here. It's hike, like. So we got away from that in the second half. You just simplified it. And sometimes Golden, and he'll admit to it. He's like, sometimes, like he said, he did too much in the USC game. I was like, sometimes you just got to play straight up.
Yeah. All right. Like I said, we'll get Goolsby back on the channel this week. We'll get Tim Hyde 2-3 times. Like we'll be busy. I'll get Horka and Sobel and Kyle Kelly on. Like it'll be a busy week at Blue and Gold YouTube channel, as well as the website blueandgold.com. That's gonna do it. Again, folks, hit the thumbs up. Subscribe to the Blue and Gold YouTube channel if you have not done so yet. And if you're just watching now, rewind, watch the beginning of the show. Some good stuff from Goolsby. And as always, folks, we will catch you next time.